and welcome to the first edition, the first episode, the first podcast of Lore of Lore. I'm your host, JT, and I'm going to be your leader on this journey through all the realms of all the different places that we like to go. Uh, this is going to be a podcast about all kinds of different things. Obviously, as you can tell, big Game of Thrones fan. We're going to be looking at Lord of the Rings stuff. We're going to be looking at Rings of Power, the House of the Dragon. We're going to be going over Harry Potter stuff, Throne of Glass. It's a great series. It's possibly being turned into a television series. So the first few episodes, we're really going to be focusing on. So the trailers. We're going to go over those today. We're gonna look at the trailer for the Ring of Power. We're going to look at the trailer for House of the Dragon. And we're gonna do small breakdowns, but it's more just gonna be a reaction and see how things are gonna go. I'm well aware of a lot of people not being happy with how everything is transpiring with Lord of the Rings as a whole, and so we're gonna take that and deal with it as it comes and see if they turn it into something that's no longer true to Tolkien, no longer true to the fandom, then we're just gonna discontinue following it and let it be its own thing. But House of the Dragon, I have high hopes for. We'll be going through some stuff. We'll be doing House of the Dragon, Blood and Fire, the Targaryen family history. We'll be looking at that more. We can use that to reference some of the things that are going on in the show. Help try and predict maybe some stuff. See where some things are going. See, really, a lot of it's going to be what's changing between the show and what George has written down already. Hopefully, it's not going to be nearly as much because of the fact that George seems to be working a little bit closer with this show than he was with Game of Thrones. And we all know how that turned out at the very end. First, in the beginning, it was great, but at the end, it's not going to fly. Not going to fly. So what we're going to be doing first is we're going to go ahead. We're going to move screens so I can see what I am doing. And I usually have a stream deck doing all this stuff. So we're going to just start with the trailer, jump right into this stuff. This is the one from San Diego Comic-Con. That's what SDCC is at the top. And let's check it out.
We thought the war
I have seen parts of it, not the whole thing.
was ended.
Those are all Rohan helmets.
Today, our days of peace begin.
We thought
looked
our
like
joys
Lothlorien.
would be unending. We thought our light would never dim.
The skies are strange.
No idea who the hell that guy is. That looked like an orc more than an elf.
It is here, Galadriel. The moment we feared.
Young Galadriel there. Seeing what's gonna happen.
Evil
The
does
Tree
not
of
sleep.
Kings.
It waits.
Beyond the darkness, tempting shadow, to bury us all beneath the mountain.
He has not one name, but many.
So I think for sure we're gonna see a Balrog.
Have you heard of him, lad? Have you heard of Sauron?
Here come the orcs.
If the evil rising is left unchecked, it will take us all.
Find the light, and the shadow will not find you. Together we can survive this!
What the fuck is going on?
Fight with me.
Each of us must decide who we shall be.
The can be no trust between hammer and rock.
None of this shit happens at
Eventually,
sea.
one or the other
Shouldn't be.
must surely break.
Like, who the fuck is that?
You have been told many lies of Middle-earth.
Lies. On September 2nd, The Rings of Power on Prime Video. I fucking knew we were gonna see a Balrog! I didn't know that was coming. That's cool though. Alright. First thoughts. I'm okay. Hey, no, I didn't tell you to play. Keep playing. Told you to turn off. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look terrible. It looks like the action scenes are going to be great. The armor looked fantastic. The CGI horse ride actually looked really terrible. I don't know if that was just my connection or if that was just that bad. When they were charging on the horses, you could see almost lag with some of the legs on the horses. So I don't know if that was just me or what. But, yeah, but then who was that dwarf that was supposed to be dark? Some of the PC stuff I'm not on board with because it's like, okay, you're doing this, you're doing that. I don't have a problem with that dwarf being black. But who is he? Why is he in the trailer? I don't know who he is. Probably get that figured out quickly. Who was that main character? Like they didn't tell you who the hell that is at all. It's not like in Lord of the Rings where it's like, okay, Frodo's your main character. Okay, Aragorn's also main character. Who are we following in this story? Are we following that kid? Are we following the dwarves? Are we following the elves? Are we following the orcs even? I think that would actually be cool if we saw from all angles. Kind of like Game of Thrones did. Hopefully they're not just trying to copy. But if they did a story where it's like, this is over here, this is what the elves are doing in Mirkwood, this is what they're doing in Lorien, and then you come over here, it's like, okay, this is what some men are doing, that they're over in the west, they can do their own thing over there, great. These are the dwarves, they're in the Lonely Mountain at this time. I think they still have Erebor. But like, who are these people? I mean, the trailer looked cool, it looked flashy, but without the idea of knowing, I'm not super familiar with the Silmarillion, but from the sounds of it, it doesn't matter because the Silmarillion isn't being used like it should be for a series like this, where you're in the Second Age and you have stuff to go by. You have information that the Tolkien family has written down that you can use to follow along and figure out, make theories even. But it's almost like when you see something that says based on a story, I feel like it's not even that. It's just literally putting the font and saying you're in Middle Earth and now everything is Lord of the Rings. It's like, no, it's really not the same. It's a fan fiction that doesn't seem like it's going to come out great. Don't get me wrong. I think there's going to be some excellent battle scenes, some good, cool stuff coming out of that. But to say that that's going to be able to take down Game of Thrones, that was the original hope when this came out. It was going to be something to take it down, and then it kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. And then it was like, okay, well, Game of Thrones ended, and that was a damn shame. That's where I was going with that. Dumpster fire, if you will. Season 8 was bad. The last 2 episodes are damn near unwatchable. That's how I feel about the end of Game of Thrones. But this was supposed to be the heir. This was supposed to be Prime stepping up and taking the fight to the streaming community and looking at everything and going, okay, great. We're gonna have a Lord of the Rings show. we're gonna make it like Game of Thrones. We're gonna have it be in the Second Age. Okay, we have information about that. Great. Then all of a sudden, season 8 happened. Then they're like, oh crap. And then the pandemic happened, and everything got pushed back even more. And it was just, it almost seemed like the more it got pushed back, the more other people got involved and decided that the main character has to be somebody that, even though there are books to go by, we're not going to touch those. We're not going to go into that area. We're not going to go, okay, this person, we could take their story, we can make it into a big thing. No, we're just going to make up our own stuff. We're going to come in here, we're going to create these characters, we're going to make up new storylines, and then we're going to make it our own things so that, you know, so that we can try and make money. And if that's all they're doing, you're not going to get the fandom. I mean, you have these people saying, what is up with toxic fandom? Why are people so mad? Well, people are mad because of stuff like Star Wars. I like Star Wars. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. I haven't seen any of the new ones, but you know, maybe we'll do that on here, as I'll watch those and give you guys what I thought of those. But I think that ship I think has already sailed, so we'll let that one go. But you look at that, and you look at the fact that they have an entire book series, and they could have went this way with it. They could have done this with it. They could have done with this with it. But because too many producers decided to go into the kitchen and fuck with the recipe, you got what everybody was complaining about. I don't know what they're complaining about, but that's the kind of stuff that's going on. Like, when you have all this effort, and then all of a sudden it's like, boom, Daenerys is the Mad Queen. Like, what? Like, we get that she suffered losses, but she suffered losses the whole time. Why is it this one time? Like, yes, you're losing people left and right. You lost a dragon. You lost another dragon. You lost your best friend and who's been with you for years and years. But you already lost best friends. You lost a husband. You lost your blood riders. You know, you lost so many things already. And to say that you went from being able to pardon humans to sorry, sidetracking. It tends to happen when I'm talking about the end of that show. But see, that's how little I think people are going to care about the Lord of the Rings new show. Is that I already trailed off. I like, everything's just going to be compared. The same thing with House of the Dragon. I'm actually a little bit nervous about House of the Dragon because so many people are going to be basing all of their everything has to match Game of Thrones energy. They don't have time to build it up. They don't have a season 1 where, you know, you have $1 million for the 10 episodes. And then all of a sudden you get to season 7, and for 6 episodes you're getting $50 million. Like, you don't get that build up with this kind of show. Everybody expects right off, boom, season 1. We want $100 million season 1, episodes 1 through 10, and, you know, amazing things. But hopefully they're able to do that. HBO is able to use that money and produce a great show. The fact that George is happy with it so far. There's another podcast called Game of Owns. They're a podcast on Apple, Spotify, all those different things. They actually had a sit-down interview with George. You can go check that out. It was good stuff. He's happy with how season 1 looks to him. It was unfinished, but he's happy with it. So to me, that goes a long way that George is happy with it, because that means that there's not a lot going wrong with the show. So with that being said, let's pull up House of the Dragon trailer and switch over. Boom, boom.
He's afoot.
I like that it's got subtitles.
The dream. It was clearer than a memory.
Man,
And I heard
that piano.
thundering hooves, splintering shields and ringing swords.
We're gonna have some
placed my
great
hand upon the
great
throne.
fight scenes, some tournament stuff.
And all the dragons roared as one.
I'm just gonna pause a quick second. His hand was bleeding. So, in a Song of Ice and Fire lore, there we go. If the throne rejects you, it cuts you. That's what that is right there. That's a cut from the throne.
And all
The throne is starting to reject him.
I consider the matter urgent. That of your succession.
Who else would have a claim?
The firstborn child.
Rhaenyra. No queen has ever sat the Iron Throne.
The king has an heir, Daemon Targaryen.
I will not be made to choose between my brother and my daughter.
Rhaenyra's succession will be challenged.
We're gonna have something like 9 individual dragons.
You are
Notice the
the king.
Kingsguard outfit, completely different there.
Refuses to take a new wife.
I have decided to name a new heir. I'm your heir.
War is afoot.
Do you think the Ram will ever accept me as their queen?
A woman would not inherit the Iron Throne, because that is the order of things.
When I'm queen, I will create a new order.
On August 21st.
There are power men should never have trifled with.
If Rhaenyra comes into power, she can cut off any challenge to her succession.
I am to inherit the Iron Throne. She will block my way.
Our hearts
Fame in one eye.
Oh, our hearts were never one. Have you never imagined yourself on the Iron Throne? Where is duty? Where is sacrifice? Now they see you as you are.
Woo! Damn. Damn. Well, that was, I'm up for it. I'm down. I'm fanboying hard for this thing. I mean, today, right now, what is today? Today is the Saturday, August 6th. So we are just 15 days away. 15 days. Just over 2 weeks before we get our first episode. And I'm going to tell you that the whole trailer, I kept putting off trying to watch both of these trailers because I wanted to do this podcast. I wanted to start it a long time ago. Stuff got in the way. YouTube took my page down as soon as I put it up, so I had to get it back. That was annoying, but then I had to wait to post stuff. Then I was working on stuff that really didn't matter, and I needed to just get content out there and see what kind of community we can grow. For the foreseeable future, I'm going to try and do a podcast every 2 weeks. I might, depending on what kind of reaction we're getting to this podcast, what kind of reaction we're getting to the whole thing. We might be doing show like right after the show. We're going to do a reaction where it's just a quick 20-minute, half an hour thing. Boom, we'll go live on YouTube. We're going to post it up. You guys can come in. You'll be able to comment. Let me know what you guys think happened. Let me know what your best moments were, what the scene was. If you think it's a dumpster fire, if you think it's not worth going to, I'll probably do a lot more for House of the Dragon, just because I'm way more involved in anything that has to do with George R.R. Martin. I love that universe. It's truly fantastic. I'm obsessed with it, and that's really what's making me start this podcast. Was having an obsession with these kind of things. Growing up being really into all the Tolkien stuff, moving on to Harry Potter, moving on to, I know a lot of people aren't going to like this, Twilight. I like the movies. I still haven't read all the books. Obviously Game of Thrones I moved on to when I got older. There's also Throne of Glass, which the author of that, she used a lot of stuff that ideas she got from Game of Thrones. It's very different, but there are some things you can notice are a little bit similar. But yeah, that's also a good series, So you just evolve with yourself, and my current obsession for a long time has been Game of Thrones. Even some of these other series have been coming out. I tried getting into Witcher. I can't get over that first couple episode hump. I never played the games, so I don't know. But we're gonna try and spread out in a lot of different directions. I have a Discord. Mostly, I use that for my gaming channel. My gaming channel is JT Lambo Gaming on Facebook. You can check that out. It's got my symbol is a wolf head with a medieval helmet on it. That would be greatly appreciated, but that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about lore of these different eras, lore of the different realms, lore of the different planets. I can usually not shut up for a long time about stuff like this, but I think I'm so excited for that trailer. Again, we're supposed to have, I think. Let me actually look it up. How many dragons? Season 1 of House of the Dragon. Here we go. Yeah, we're supposed to get at least 9 dragons that are going to look different. They're going to have different personalities. They're going to be a lot different than Drogon, Rhaegal, and Viserion. They're not just going to be like, okay, this guy looks the same, smaller, highlight here. This guy's different. Okay, a little bit of red here. Okay, a little bit of green here. Little pale, whatever. It's not going to be the same. From the trailer, you saw one that had a very long neck. It was very different looking. So we're going to get 9 of those in season 1. 9 different dragons. Now, who's to say that doesn't mean that 3 of them could be some form of hatchling that they're showing, having them on a shoulder perhaps, kind of like Dany did for the majority of season 2, was having one on her shoulder. Yeah, there's that. So there could be the small ones. So it might not be we're going to get a large portion of dragons. Obviously, I think season 2 is going to start really being the heart of the Dance of the Dragons, because season 1 is supposed to span something like 30 years or something. But that could be the first few episodes. So you saw the grow up of Rhaenyra. So you saw her as a child, you saw her as an adult. I don't know how long that's going to take. Hopefully it won't take too many episodes, because we want to get the story moved. We want to get to the Dance of the Dragons, where all that political intrigue of who's supposed to take the throne, who showed loyalty, who showed that they remember, who showed that they are unwilling to deal with the laws of the past, who showed that they're like, no way. The Great Council said, boom, has to be a male. You have to go by the Great Council. That was a precedent set. There's people that did that. Let's see. Oh, David Lightbringer made a video of the 10 dragons. Apologize. I shouldn't be doing that. Yeah, he made the 10 dragons we'll see in House of the Dragons season 1. Well, they're only going to get 9. So I'm gonna watch that video later. He's he's on YouTube. He is David Lightbringer, or Lucifer Means Lightbringer. He's a great YouTube host. He talks a lot about A Song of Ice and Fire, a lot about House of the Dragon. He is all up in that world. Great show. Go check him out. Yeah, great listen. So with let's move on to the soundtrack stuff. So I'm so happy that I think I'm going to say this right. Hopefully I'm saying it right. Miguel Sapochnik. No, that's the director. So Miguel Sapochnik, we'll move to that one, is the director of the episode 1. Actually, it might be for the entire season 1. So anytime that you probably had a favorite episode of Game of Thrones, look at who the director was, and I bet you 9 times out of 10 it was Miguel Sapochnik. He did such amazing work in that show. I'm so happy that he's going to be a part of this and hopefully a big part of this. I heard that he was doing season 1. I think they were probably meant to say it was episode 1. I'm not sure how they're doing this. If it's a different director every episode, like they were doing with Game of Thrones, some directors do repeat throughout the season. But it's good to see that there will be people from Game of Thrones being brought over to House of the Dragon. So there will be some feel that is very similar. You know, we're going to be in familiar places. We're going to be in Dragonstone. We didn't spend a tremendous amount of time there in this show, but you know, it's going to be a place that we can recognize. And we're going to see that, you know, we're going to get that another great shot of the painted table. You know, that it's such a great, along with the Iron Throne, that's probably the second biggest piece of Game of Thrones stuff. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. But if you're really into the fandom, it goes throne, then probably painted table. Like everybody talks like, oh, the swords are the stars of the show. Like, not really, because there's, you know, it's like, yeah, you got Longclaw, I got Longclaw. Let me show you. It's in keychain form. Whoa. It's like, boom. You got Longclaw, keychain form. Actually, like a little letter opener. But it's like, boom, great. This is the show about this sword, besides the throne. It's like, oh, but then you got Oathkeeper or Whittle's Whale. I'm not sure which one this is. But then it's like, oh, there's 2 of those swords. Well, what the hell? Oh, look. And now there's a dagger. What? You know what I mean? There's so many things. And yes, I spend my money on ridiculous trinkets. I also have Needle. It's not made of Valyrian steel. So, boom, there's Needle. I just wasn't bringing that one out because it wasn't proving the point about the swords being Valyrian steel. Not meaning as much because there's quite a few of them. Like, yeah, people see the dragon eggs. When did we see the dragon eggs? We saw the dragon eggs in season 1, and then they hatched, and we didn't see them for the rest of the time. So how is that part of it? But the painted table, that is literally just the map of Westeros. I mean, how is that not super important? So we're gonna definitely be looking at that. So I can't say his name, but the composer is returning. I was reading a question that came up on here, and it didn't answer what I needed to anyways. But that's all I got for today. About a half an hour in. That was just a quick one. I knew it was going to be a quick one because it was the first one. Once we have a subject, you know, once we have a direct object, whether we're looking at Fire and Blood, we're going through some different chapters to see what we think is how it's gonna start. We're probably gonna skip first 2 episodes. If we're getting 10 episode seasons, which we probably are, we're going to probably get the time jump in the first 2 to 3 episodes, and then they really get to turn up how fast the story starts moving a little bit once they get to episode 4, episode 5. Okay, now we get the backstory on these people. Now we need to get them to where they need to be, but we also need to explain what's happened during this time jump. So it's gonna be a little hectic. So hopefully we'll be able to help people. Excuse me. We'll be able to help people get through and better understand what's transpiring in the show. What could transpire in the show. Because with George, there's not just a cut and dry. It's not just, here's the line, over here's the good guys, boom, over here's the bad guys. Like, No, his shit just does a big old circle. There's some bad here, but there's some good right next to it, and then but there's more bad, and then there's a mix over here, and it's just his world is so detailed, really, so detailed and so elaborate. There we go. That's what I was trying to go with, elaborate. My hair is bugging me, but yeah, we're gonna call it a day here. So next time we're going to be doing. I think I'm actually deciding that right now. Yeah, next time we're gonna be doing. I'm gonna grab the book. I currently only have the audio book, so I'm gonna grab the book House Blood and Fire. Hopefully, I'll get that quickly. I can go grab that at Barnes and Nobles. And then we'll be back. We'll throw up another podcast. We'll go through some areas in that book. We'll look up what dragons we're probably going to see. Hopefully there'll be some illustrations of the dragons, so we'll have an idea of maybe we can go back to the trailer a little bit and say, oh, this one looks like Cyrax. This one looks like Moraxes. This one looks like Vagar. This one looks like Sun Chaser. No, Sun Chaser is a boat. Yeah. Anyways, we're gonna do some different things, but I appreciate everybody that came in to watch this first episode of Lore of Lore. I hope to make many more of these episodes. If you guys have any input, please feel free to drop that in the comments. If you always be so kind, drop that like, drop that share, drop that subscribe. Really appreciate it, and I hope to catch you guys next time.